Choosing the right remodeling contractor in Utah is one of the most important decisions you're going to make before a tool ever touches your home. Get it right and your project runs smoothly. Get it wrong and you could be dealing with a fallout for years. Here's what actually matters when you're vetting a contractor in Cache Valley or Northern Utah. The first thing you do is verify their license. In Utah, that means going to the DOPL website, the Division of Professional Licensing, and looking them up by name and license number. It's a public database, it takes 2 minutes, and it tells you immediately whether the contractor is authorized to do the work that they're quoting you for. A license isn't just a piece of paper. It means that the contractor has met the state's requirement for knowledge, experience, and accountability. If they're not licensed, walk away. Right along the license is insurance. General liability insurance is non-negotiable. If something goes wrong on your property, damage, injury, anything else, and your contractor doesn't have active insurance, you could be left holding the bill. Here's something most homeowners don't know. A contractor can have a valid license, but let their insurance lapse. The license doesn't automatically tell you whether the insurance is current. Ask for their certificate of insurance directly and make sure it's active. This one may surprise you, but web presence is a massive tell for me personally. If a contractor doesn't have a website, doesn't have a Facebook page, no reviews on Google, they pretty much don't have any public record of their work, and that's a big problem. I've heard contractors say things like, "My work speaks for itself, and I don't need the internet." And I get it, but here's the reality. If you're not putting yourself out there publicly, you're not willing to be held accountable publicly. Being a good contractor means being accountable to the state, to your municipality, and to the homeowners you've completed projects for. A public web presence is how that accountability shows up in the real world. And if they're not willing to risk the scrutiny of public opinion, that should tell you something. There are 2 questions I think every homeowner should ask before they hire a contractor. The first is, how do you handle permits for this type of project? A legitimate contractor answers without hesitation. They either pull them or they explain clearly what's required. If a contractor tells you they're not necessary when you know they are, well, that's your answer right there. The second question is, what happens when something unexpected comes up mid-project? This tells you everything about how they operate. Do they have a real change order process? Do they communicate clearly when something does change? Or do they just wing it? A contractor who doesn't have a clear answer for this question either hasn't experienced it or doesn't handle it well when they do. Either way, that's a risk to your project. Here's something I'll say that might be a little bit different than what you've heard from other contractors. I don't think it should always be the homeowner qualifying the contractor. A good contractor has a standard. They do quality work, they run projects professionally, and they're looking for clients who are a good fit, not just any client who calls. So if you've done your homework, checked the license, verified the insurance, seen the web presence and the body of work, you've already done most of the qualifying. The conversation from there should feel like a partnership, not an interrogation. The right contractor isn't always the cheapest one, but they're always licensed, insured, accountable, and willing to have a straight conversation about how they run their projects. If you're looking for a remodeling contractor here in Cache Valley, and you want to work with someone who checks all those boxes, go ahead and reach out. Then we'll have that conversation.